My first guest today is the famous celebrity chef, Mr. Tene Shake. Tene, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we're going to be talking to you about a lot of things that are happening here on the Monterey Peninsula. I know yesterday you just finished up the second annual Great Clam Chowder and Calamari Festival. And that's something that's going to be an annual event. I know last year was the first. This is the second. You're getting ready for the third already. It's going to be Memorial Day weekend of 2014.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very excited about that.
And I know you told me you were out in the sunshine for 3 days, and today you wore your hat because you have a white band on the top of your forehead.
Yes, I do. The weather was beautiful. It was such a great weekend with weather. And yes, I got a little sunburn doing cooking demonstrations and talking to people about how to clean squid. It was really a wonderful event.
How did that come about? How did that weekend come about?
Well, there used to be a calamari festival that was years ago, and it had went away. Used to be at the Monterey Fairgrounds, and so we personally missed it. And we've talked to a lot of people like, whatever happened to that festival? So we decided to bring it back to the local community, and it was just, it was well received. People loved the concept and the idea, and it was just great. So.
And this was something that you put together with your brothers?
It's actually the Calamari Entertainment Group. So there are different people that are involved in the organization, but definitely my brothers and I are very involved in it.
Let's talk about your background on the Monterey Peninsula. I know you go back, you were born and raised here.
Yes.
And grew up in the business. Actually, you started out very young in the fishing industry, didn't you?
I did. Well, you know, I'm born and raised here in Monterey. Our family's been on Fisherman's Wharf over 60 years. It's hard to believe that we've been in the same location for all those years. But born and raised, I have 5 older brothers, no sisters. You have to marry into the family, we say. And really great mom and dad. Many people remember my father, Sabu, with the white cowboy hat down at Fisherman's Wharf. And
there's still a statue of him.
There's still a statue, really an iconic restaurateur and an innovator during his time. And I have my older brothers, 3 brothers actually, that were commercial fishermen in Monterey Bay, and one of my brothers fished up in Alaska. So we have this great fishing history. We actually owned our own wholesale retail fish market on the wharf, that they would catch fish, bring it into the market, and as a youngster, I learned how to clean fish by really a lot of the local Italian fishermen really taught me most of what I know about fish and how to catch fish and things like that.
Now, is it true that you started out on a fishing boat and decided that wasn't for you?
Oh boy, I went fishing with my brothers, and they worked so hard. And, you know, they were just so skilled at what they did, and I went out there and I could not keep up with them. They just knew what they were doing. I thought the fishing business is not for me, so I stayed on land and helped in the fish market and in my family's restaurant.
And that's where you learned to cook the recipes, the old school recipes?
Absolutely. I learned from my dad. I learned from my brothers. I learned how to cook from a lot of the local Italian fishermen. And then I had my first, beside our family, job at the Cove restaurant on Fisherman's Wharf at age 11 years old. And it was owned by the Crivello family at the time. They didn't have the child labor laws back then.
What did they have you doing?
You know, I learned how to bread calamari and how to make fish and chips and even hamburgers and hot dogs. It was a fun job as a kid. So I would take and do that on the weekends, and then during the week after school, I would help at my family's restaurant.
Now, your mother's Italian, so you must have gotten a lot of recipes from your mom.
You know, very true, but even in the community with the Sicilian and Italians, I learned a lot from, I mean, at Sundays, I was at the Campagno family's house every Sunday as a young teenager, and Mrs. Campagno would make the best meals. They would go on and on and on. You know, you'd finish with one course, and then the next one would come out. And the Panizzi family, Elaine Panizzi, an amazing cook. And I learned all these great recipes watching experiencing and just learning through the years.
Now, currently today, you have the Isabella's restaurant on Fisherman's Wharf. When did that come about?
That has been actually about 12 years, almost 12 years. And it's been Isabella's about 7 years.
Okay. And that's named after your mom.
Named after our mom, Isabella. So we do Italian seafood there and a lot of great specialty dishes.
You're primarily a seafood chef. When you're doing the Coastal Cuisine television program, yes, which we run on our stations here and over in Fresno, your specialty is cooking seafood and not being afraid of cooking seafood.
That's exactly right. Most people that I've talked to over the years, they're real comfortable to cook beef and chicken and pasta, but when it comes to seafood, they're terrified. Mm-hmm. They don't know what to look for when they buy it. They don't really have a lot of recipes on how to cook it. So really, that was one of the main inspirations with Coastal Cuisine, was to teach people and help them to take the fear out of cooking seafood at home, because it's really simple once you learn the techniques and the little experiences on how to do it the right way.
And you know, it's interesting, I started the show off saying celebrity chef because Tene's program, the Coastal Cuisine program, runs over in Fresno on our stations, and it's been running for a number of years now. And tell us what happens when the folks from the San Joaquin Valley who have seen you on television come over and see you in the restaurant.
I'll tell you what, I certainly don't look like Tom Cruise, but when they come and see me at the wharf and they've watched me on television in Fresno, I get the same impact that Tom Cruise gets.
They want your autograph,
they do.
And they want to take a picture with you.
They really do, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's an honor to have. We know that people from the San Joaquin Valley and Fresno Valley, they come to Monterey, so it's an honor for me that I'm able to be in their homes and to help inspire them to cook seafood. And
you know, I'm a native Fresnan, and anytime June, July, August, or even into September comes about, with the temperatures going up into the 100s,
yes,
people do get in their cars and come to the coast where it's so great weather-wise, just nice and cool. Sometimes 50 degrees less than it is in Fresno. I mean, it could be 105 in Fresno and 55 degrees here.
Yeah, Monterey is so spectacular. You know, I've had the privilege to travel around the world, and everywhere I go, and people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm Monterey, California. And they said, "Well, why are you vacationing? Why'd you leave home? And you live in the most beautiful place in the world." And I definitely agree with that.
Tell us about your trip back to Washington, D.C. when you were at the White House with the First Lady.
Well, it was really a privilege to be with the White House chef, Sam Cass, and I actually was able to harvest produce at Michelle Obama's organic garden, which was really something special for her, because not a lot of people get to go there. Not a lot of chefs have that privilege to do that. Also to take into, they have a beehive that they actually produce their own honey right there. So it was really a great experience, and Sam Cass, the White House chef's amazing.
Were you there for a couple of days or a day? How long were you
just
actually
a day,
there?
Just a day.
Were they bringing chefs in from other cities besides yourself?
Only me.
Really? No, I know you've got a picture with Sam over at the restaurant.
Yeah, I sure do. So it's really, it's a real treat.
That was a great experience. Were you able to meet the First Lady?
No, we didn't get a chance to meet the First Lady, but we definitely were able to go through some areas of the White House that are not open to the public, and you know, of course, the White House kitchen is amazing to be in, and
that was an exciting experience.
Very exciting, very exciting.
What else is coming up? Anything new that you can tell us about that's going on here in your family or your brother's establishments? I know your brother Chris has the Fisherman's Grotto on the wharf, and then on Cannery Row.
The Fish Hopper, and I think maybe a lot of people in the Monterey area may not know that my brothers also have a Fish Hopper restaurant in Kona, Hawaii.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Beautiful restaurant right on Kona Bay. The food is amazing out there because they literally the fishermen pull right up to the pier and the docks, and they unload their fresh fish right into the restaurants, and so the quality of the food is just incredible out there. So
three brothers have restaurants here on the Monterey Peninsula.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then one brother has a whale watching cruise line as well, right?
Yeah, Monterey Whale Watching, Princess Monterey Whale Watching Cruises, and he's actually my oldest brother.
Okay.
And he, you know, fishing's in his blood, boats are in his blood. We couldn't get him out, so he still just continues to work with boats. He's not fishing any longer, but he's now running his own whale watching adventures.
And tell me, because I'm really not familiar with that, are there whales out to watch here on the Monterey Peninsula?
As they say, Captain, there be whales. So, there is a lot, and
Really?
they really migrate up and down the coast almost all year round.
No kidding.
Whale watching has become so popular that it really at Fisherman's Wharf is the gateway to the marine sanctuary and whale watching. So there's no place better than to come to Fisherman's Wharf for whale watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, Tene, is the fact that you are now the newly elected president of the American Culinary Federation Central Coast Chapter, and you've got some ambitious goals set. You want to talk about that?
I'd love to. I'm certainly very honored. The American Culinary Federation is the largest chefs organization in America, and I'm really honored to represent the Central Coast. We have some amazing chefs in our region, and we really have three things that we do. We bring inspiration, education, and certification to up-and-coming chefs, people that are in the kitchens that want to do more with their career, that want to become sous chefs and ultimately certified chefs, and that really is what we provide. Food safety is a national issue, so we have some of the best educational programs for our American Culinary Federation members on food safety, on sanitation, food nutrition. It's just amazing. So,
how does someone get to be a member?
well, we do actually, it is open for people that may not be a chef, but like to be around culinarians and stuff. So you could sign up at the AmericanCulinaryFederation.com and become a certified culinarian or become a junior member of the organization. But my goal really is to reach the common person in the kitchen. A lot of times these people that work as cooks, line cooks, sous chefs, they never get a pat on the back or never get any recognition. And our organization has the opportunity to recognize them, inspire them, and hopefully get them into an educational program, and with the ultimate goal of becoming certified chefs.
How many people are usually in a kitchen, say at Isabella's? How many people behind the scenes in the kitchen?
Generally, there's about 10 to 12 people per shift in the kitchen.
That many?
There is.
And they're all assigned duties inside the kitchen?
Absolutely. It's almost like an orchestra. They all have to come together at the same time to produce the great meals that people eat around the peninsula.
Wow.
So it's incredible.
And that's just a standard in your restaurant, but all restaurants that have both Italian food, seafood, right, they have that many folks working in their kitchens?
Very much so. Some even more than that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that has been very important for me as the president of the Culinary Federation is reaching the Hispanic community, which represents over 70% of our kitchens. There are some superstars in these kitchens around the peninsula that are just doing an amazing job. We want to reach out to them and to help them get into more education and certification. So we really have a real desire and a real passion to reach the Hispanic culinary community and make a difference in their life, because many of them that are in the kitchen now will be some of the same ones 20 years from now. And we have an opportunity to make their life better and make a difference in their life, which ultimately will make a difference in the people that they feed in the future.
Well, you need to stick around, because the next gentleman who's going to be on the program today is the general manager of the Univision television station, our
great station,
big Hispanic station here on the Monterey Peninsula, so you guys need to know each other.
Definitely.
I want to talk, can we get personal for a second?
Absolutely.
I want to talk about your beautiful wife and how many years you've been married.
Absolutely. My wife, Tracy, an incredible lady. We've been married 31 years.
Wonderful.
We come from rival schools. I'm Monterey High School. She's Pacific Grove High School. But we have been together since we were young teenagers and have had an amazing life and an amazing journey.
And you were both in high school together, but different schools.
That's correct.
But at the same time.
Right. But we did go through college together.
I see.
So we actually took the same courses through college. And
did you meet at a dance or something? How did you two meet?
No, actually we met through a mutual friend of ours introduced us as teenagers. And I happened to be managing at the Fisherman's Grotto restaurant. at 16 years old, and she came in and was looking for a job as a hostess.
Oh, goodness.
And it's like, you know, hey, you're hired.
And I was down at the festival yesterday, and I noticed you had her at one of the booths.
Yes.
She was there helping out, wasn't
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was down there working all 3 days over the weekend.
Oh, you guys make a great team.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's see. We've been talking with Tene Shake, who's the owner of Isabella's Restaurant here on the Monterey Peninsula. Also does the Coastal Cuisine television program. You can see it on our station, KYMB, Comcast Channel 19. Also, if you're in the Fresno area at all, it's on Channel 33.2 in Fresno. And Tene, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Isabella's in the near future.
Thank you very much.